Welcome to the Women's Football Show here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Kerry Pollock, Alison McConnell and Cara Henderson are here with me. Before we get into the meat and bones of the weekend's games, Alison, Scotland find themselves back in action coming up this Friday night at Easter Road. Is this the biggest game since that Republic of Ireland game?
No doubt about it, Kerry. I think it's huge. I think Scotland are 2 games away from being back at a major tournament. The first time they would have been at a tournament since that 2019 World Cup in France. I think they have consolidated since a very sobering Nations League campaign in League A. I think going into these games in a really confident frame of mind. I think they're unbeaten in their last 8 games. And I think it's a nation and a team who expects. I think Finland will probably be a very, very tough opponent. I think there's not a huge amount between the two teams, and I think Finland too are seasoned at getting to major tournaments. I think they will be a demanding opponent for Scotland, both on Friday night and then the second leg next week. But Pedro Martinez Losa has been quietly confident that this is a team who are capable of going and performing against elite level European opposition, against the best of the best in a major tournament. And this is where now Scotland have to do their talking. They have to go and show it on the pitch.
And Pedro Martinez Losa said that this could be the biggest achievement of his career if Scotland qualify through these two games. Just how big would it be for the players to get through?
Yeah, I think it's sort of what you dream of, isn't it, to play at a major tournament for your country. I mean, that feels like it's a pretty high up bucket list thing to achieve, and I think that it's right in their hands. I fancy them, I do. I think that the recent production of some really great players is definitely good for the squad, and I think just when you're that close, they'll give 120%. You know, it'll just be they'll be putting everything into it. So yeah, I mean, for the players, obviously, as a player myself, I hope the best for them, because it would just be an amazing achievement.
Who are those key players for you in this Scotland team? I
think having, Erin Cuthbert, Weir, I even think, the players that are playing in Scotland at the moment, you've got Shannon McGregor, Kelly Clark in the squad. They're playing against champions. They're playing against Chelsea, Real Madrid. So you've got, I think it's a very high quality squad all round. And I think as well you want to use these players while they're sort of in their prime too. I don't think you want to let another cycle keep going before you get to another major tournament. But I think Scotland have got a really, really good squad and a really great chance using the players that they have.
Finland have obviously saw past Alison, the Netherlands, Italy, Montenegro and Norway. Just how tough is this going to be for Scotland?
I think it's the hardest game they'll have had. Really going back to they were competing in the top flight against League A teams. I think it'll be narrow. I think Scotland are capable of winning, but I wouldn't expect a big comprehensive score. I think it'll be very, very tight. I think Finland will ask questions of Scotland. I think they'll be under pressure at points, particularly in the away leg. For me, I think players such as Caroline Weir are huge here. I think what you've seen from the midfielder since she's got back into Real Madrid this summer after the 10-month layoff or so because of the ACL, I think she looks hungry. I think you almost sense that there's a desire to make up for the time that she spent out. I think she's Scotland's genuine world-class talent. I think they are a substantially better team with Caroline Weir in it than they are without, and I think she's a player who's capable of conjuring something from nothing. I think she has a creativity that Scotland badly need at times. She's capable of contributing with a goal. And I think this is a Scotland team who will be fuelled by the hurt of not making it to the last World Cup, fuelled by the feeling that they should have beaten Ireland at Hampden. That game, they lost a penalty that night. Caroline Weir missed a penalty that night, but a game that got away from them that they should have come through. And I think they've had to sit out recent tournaments. They've had to watch as England went on and won the Euros down south, and then they had to watch the World Cup that took place in Australia and New Zealand last summer. Commercially, the biggest tournament that there has been. I think there is a real fuel to go and say we need to be back at this level and use the heart of those games to go and get themselves to the European Championships.
Yes, well, fingers crossed Scotland can get the job done over those 2 legs. Let's look back at the league action then, at what went on at the weekend, and see how the league table is shaping up. Up at the top, Glasgow City on 37, Rangers just tucked in behind on 36, followed by Hearts Celtic on 32. Hibernian just dropped down to 5th and 30 points. Motherwell into the top 6, then with bottom half we have Partick, Thistle, Spartans, Aberdeen, Montrose, Queen's Park and Dundee United at the foot of the table. Well, Ali, she told us last week she was going to do it. She is back on the scoreboard. Cara, talk us through it.
The game or the goal, both. The game itself was good. I feel like it was right back to what I sort of think that we're all about as a team, and it was pleasing to play in, it was enjoyable to play in as well, and I was really proud of the girls. We were so frustrated going in 1-0 down at half time because we felt we'd done enough. I mean, I think I said to the ref, how long was it until the end of the half, and he said 10 seconds, and it felt like we'd done enough to stump them and sort of we'd frustrated them. I think our game plan was pretty good, and we were very frustrated, and then to come out obviously to get the goal I was really pleased with. I've obviously not scored as many as I would have liked this season, so I was delighted, and it was a good time to do it as well because so soon after half time neither team were really in a rhythm, so I feel like we were back on a level playing field, and I think that we kind of had to dig in deep, obviously going down to 10 men, but we dug in deep. I thought defensively we were outstanding at points, and I think it's only a point, but I think that it's a very good point.
Hibs have obviously been a team to be reckoned with this season. Just what can that do for the squad mentality-wise and confidence?
I think that, you know, as you said, Hibs have been a very good side, and we were very close to them last year, and I think that the first couple of games this season, there's definitely been a sort of, okay, they've taken massive steps, and I think that to sort of, you know, as a group of players to sort of frustrate them as much as we did yesterday, it was, and I think I've said many times that, you know, it's not been the ideal season, it's been a wee bit up and down, but I think hopefully that a result like that, it just breeds a wee bit of confidence. I think momentum's a big thing. We've got a very tough cup tie against Glasgow City, not too far away, but we've got a nice run until now, until Christmas, and I think that we've got to together as a squad pull and take a lot of confidence from yesterday.
It seems like Hibs and Hearts, Ali, need that little block in the road to kind of rejuvenate and regroup and think what we're doing here.
I think Hearts, the likes of Hearts might fancy that they would be keen to keep going. I think they recovered after losing to Hibs last weekend. Yep. I think they've had when you assess it across the opening 3 months of the campaign, I think they'll be thrilled with where they are, the points that they've taken, sitting in 3rd spot. I think some pretty notable results that they've taken along the way. I do think for the likes of Celtic that there's a real need for a break. I think obviously a number of players will be away on international duty. However, it's been a gruelling schedule for them because obviously they've been managing the dual demands of the Champions League with domestic football, and I think even for the manager herself, I think there'll be a need just to take a breather because there's almost no training when you're in that kind of cycle. It's like post-game recovery, then like you're preparing for a game without actually being able to get down and get to work on the training ground or just to properly recover from games. And these are small squads that you speak of. Like we talk about the demands on the men's team and the squads are significantly smaller, resources are smaller. So I think they do feel it, and I think that's reflected in the league table where Celtic sit. At the minute they're in 4th spot. I think they're like robbed Hibs because Hibs lost at Hibs drew with Thistle at the weekend, so Celtic were able to move up. But I think you can see the toll that it's taken on them, and even for the likes of Glasgow City, Rangers, I think they'll all probably definitely welcome a bit of a breather, albeit that these are the teams that boast the most amount of players who will be away and travelling and being elsewhere over the next couple of weeks.
Just on Celtic then quickly, Elena Sudoku, she said a few times in her post-match interviews that they've not had a good enough first half, they didn't start very well. Is this a dangerous pattern that we're starting to notice?
I think it's been very prominent. I think it's been a real headache for Celtic this season. I think they have been slow, they've been lethargic in many games. I think it's become something of a problem for them now. They recovered at the weekend, they went in all square at the break against Montrose. They recovered, won very comfortably in the end, a 5-1 win. But against better teams, that's a far harder thing to do, and you saw it last weekend when they lost to Rangers. Again, slow to come out, Rangers on at them, out the blocks quickly, and while they went in level terms, I think they just gave themselves too much of a mountain to climb over the course of the campaign. And it's interesting how much of that can be attributed to the fact that they're playing midweek too. Obviously last Wednesday night they were down at London for the game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge and then coming back up to play at New Douglas Park. It'll be interesting when the European campaign comes to a conclusion in December whether or not there's a difference in in league games, but certainly across the first 3 months of the season, I think it has been a recurring problem.
Cara, Rangers put 6 goals past Dundee United. Is this worrying times for teams at the bottom of the table, especially Dundee United not having picked up a win yet this season?
I think it's tough, yeah. I think obviously the 3 relegation places is obviously a massive thing as well. I think that, listen, I don't think Dundee United will be judged on results against Rangers. I think that, and that's with all due respect, I think it's just how the top teams are, they're relentless. But yeah, I think they'll want to pick up a win as soon as possible, because I think that'll just boost them. And you can see how tight it is actually at the bottom of the table as well, that a couple wins and you're right about where you want to be. So yeah, I think they'll be desperate to get the win. But I don't think that, I think I saw that she'd said that they were really happy with their performance against Rangers. So if there's positive to take from that, that's definitely the main thing.
How does the 3-team relegation rule benefit the league?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I feel like we're going to lose some really good teams. I think that no matter what, I mean, listen, it adds a bit of jeopardy, I suppose, this season, talking points maybe, in terms of, as I said, I think a good team is going to go down out of 2 or 3 maybe, actually, all 3 of them. I don't know what it adds necessarily. As I said, I think it adds a wee bit of jeopardy, and I suppose maybe next year the structure of the league will work a wee bit better, but I think you've got to also protect these teams as well, because you want it to be competitive across all fronts of all leagues that we've got. So it'll be interesting, and to be fair, it's a scary prospect as well.
Absolutely. Well, Ali, from 1-6-1 win to another Motherwell, 6 goals to 1 against Queen's Park. We talk about the top 2, the goal difference, but Motherwell getting involved in this, it can affect you at any point of the table.
Yeah, I think Motherwell have had a good season. I think Paul Brownlee will be delighted just with where they are and how well they've done. I think I think they had ambitions of trying to mirror what Partick Thistle have done across recent seasons and push themselves into the top 6. And at the minute, Cara, they look as though they're just got their noses in front. But again, it's still a good bit of time to go. I think it'd be too early just now, but certainly I think they'll be delighted with what's coming. And the fact they lost Leanne Crichton too, lost one of their coaches to Glasgow City. I did wonder what kind of impact that might have had, but judging on the weekend, not too much.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of myself, Cara and Alison, best of luck to Scotland on Friday and then over in Finland on Tuesday. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.
Are you in the market to buy a car? Click the link below.